What if the resurrection of Jesus Christ isn't just a matter of faith, but a matter of history? For over 2,000 years, this event has stood at the center of Christianity. Believers worship it. Critics deny it. And skeptics question it. But here's the real question few people ask. What did early historians, both Christian and non-Christian, actually record about Jesus after his death? Today, we are not preaching. We are not quoting church traditions. We are examining history, ancient documents, Roman records, Jewish historians, eyewitness testimonies. And what they reveal might just surprise you. Let's start with the historical setting. Jesus of Nazareth was crucified around 30 to 33 AD, under the Roman prefect Pontius Pilate. This is not debated among historians. Crucifixion was a brutal Roman execution method, reserved for rebels, criminals, and political threats. Jesus was accused of claiming kingship, a direct challenge to Roman authority. Roman executioners were professionals. They ensured death. Victims were scourged, nailed, suffocated, and pierced. Survival was virtually impossible. This matters because any resurrection claim must first pass one test. Was Jesus really dead? Now let's turn to the historical records. One of the most important non-Christian sources is Tacitus, a respected Roman senator and historian. Writing around 116 AD, Tacitus recorded this in his Annals. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of Pontius Pilate. Tacitus hated Christianity, calling it a superstition. He had no reason to promote Christian belief. Yet he confirmed that Jesus existed. He was executed, and it happened under Pilate. This is Roman state history, not church propaganda. Next is Flavius Josephus, a first-century Jewish historian. In his work, Antiquities of the Jews, written around 93 AD, Josephus writes about Jesus. At this time there was a wise man called Jesus. Pilate condemned him to be crucified, and those who loved him did not cease. Josephus also records something crucial. He appeared to them alive again on the third day. Now, scholars acknowledge that some Christian phrases were likely added later. But even critical historians agree that the core statement is authentic. Josephus confirms that Jesus was crucified. His followers claimed he rose, and the movement did not die. And this is key. A dead Messiah ends movements. A risen Messiah starts them. This brings us to the empty tomb, a historical problem for critics. All four Gospels agree on one uncomfortable fact: women discovered the empty tomb. In first-century Jewish culture, a woman's testimony was not accepted in court. Their word carried little legal authority. If the resurrection story were fabricated, women would never have been the primary witnesses. This detail strongly suggests authenticity. Also consider this: the tomb's location was known. Roman guards were stationed there. Jewish leaders could have easily produced the body to crush the new movement. Yet, no body was ever presented. Instead, critics started a rumor: the disciples stole the body. But think about that. Roman guards faced execution for failing their duty. Would trained soldiers all fall asleep on watch? Would a few fishermen overpower a Roman troop? This explanation creates more problems than it solves. Even those who mocked Christians ended up confirming key facts. Lucian of Samosata, a second-century Greek satirist, made fun of Christians, yet, in his mockery, he confirmed this: Christians worship a man to this day, the distinguished personage who was crucified. Lucian records that Christians believed Jesus rose, worshipped him as divine, and were willing to die for this belief. Mockery is not an endorsement, but it is powerful confirmation of what early Christians believed. Then we have official Roman records. Pliny the Younger, a Roman governor, wrote to Emperor Trajan around 112 AD. He described Christians meeting before dawn to sing hymns to Christ as to a god. This is massive. Within less than 80 years of the crucifixion, Jesus was being worshipped as God across the Roman Empire by people willing to face execution for their faith. Legends simply do not develop this fast and have this kind of impact. Finally, look at the disciples themselves. Before the resurrection, Peter denied Jesus. The disciples fled, and they hid in fear. After the resurrection, they preached publicly, faced imprisonment, and ultimately died refusing to deny what they saw. People might die for a lie they think is true, but no one dies for something they know is false. Something transformed these men from cowards into martyrs. History cannot force belief, but it does demand an explanation. The resurrection of Jesus is not supported by one source, but by multiple independent witnesses: Roman historians, Jewish records, hostile sources, an empty tomb, and transformed followers. Christianity didn't begin with power, it began with a tomb that could not hold the body. And that leaves us with the ultimate question: if Christ did not rise, why did history change forever? Thanks for watching. Follow us for more.